Sponsor, what's up? Time for Taco Bell. You're a brave guy. How's your back feeling today? Back is still... Yeah, I just got done taking 2 muscle relaxers, so we'll see how mine feels in a little bit. Still working on some rifle rounds. Seems like a nice chilled way to wind the day down. Nerds with Guns, what's up? I am gonna work on some rifle rounds here in a minute. If I find my shell holder. Bet you it's sitting right here because I never put it away. Yep. That's where it is. That's why you put your tools away. So you never answered me, not a sponsor. Were you interested in helping John with that video, or should I do that? Yeah. It's a whole nother hobby in itself. Move some shit over here. Can't pull a little closer, make it a little better. Ammo. When I was doing all my case prep, I had maybe 100 pieces that I didn't prime, so I'll prime them out and then throw them with the other ones. We'll knock them out. How are you doing today, Ammo? Alright, I'll do that after a while when my oldest gets home. I'll just, I'll hold the phone up and I'll just record him as he does a video. Chanson, what's going on? This is all brass again that I had already prepped. I thought it was maybe 100, but maybe there's not quite that many in there. I have that little tub right there full too. But you going to head home Saturday? parents, I don't know who in their right mind would hire a unknown babysitter off of YouTube. You start spamming, I'm just gonna boot you. I'll boot you permanently if you come back. If you don't want to spam, you're more than welcome to come back. But Ammo, are you live? Are you gonna be live today? Yeah, I wouldn't hire a male babysitter either. Unless it were like I had an adult kid with maybe like Down syndrome or something, and then they could go play ball, but it'd still be a little weird. It's funny, Ammo, because people see you shooting, and a lot of them don't realize, especially for reloaders, the time they spend in before they get to even go to the range. There's a certain amount of dedication to your sport or your hobby. It's kind of like the guy who ties flies. But what time you going live? Because I'll shut this off. If you're going live in 10 minutes, I'll shut it off and watch your live. As long as you're there and not GunTube. Or we can be gangsters and we can go live together. You want to go live together? We can touch tips. Like, oh, tip, 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 tip. So it sounds like John from John's Arsenal is going to be sending me a Thompson buttstock, which is really cool because I can cut a couple inches off of it. Well, give me a time, man, and I will absolutely do that. Either you have to send me the link or I have to send you the link. So we can sit there and distract one another. Honestly, the only reason I want to go live with you is so I can actually sit and chat with you. Saturn, how are you doing? Kevin, how are you doing? Like I said, just let me know when you're ready. If you're ready, or another time, it doesn't matter. Bonjour. Roger, how are you doing, man? I think I should have went shooting today. Our weather forecast shows the next 7 days rain, like 90%. So it's going to pretty much rain for the next 7 days straight. That's fantastic. But not a sponsor. What's up with you today? You just hanging out at home again, taking it easy? I think you said you were taking it easy, but you working from home, or do you have to go take care of business somewhere? I'm not sure why you think I would have Egyptian god cards. I'm not even sure what you mean by that. Unfortunately, Roger, I don't speak France. What's your tips? Is that in reference to when I said Mountain and I could touch Mountain Man? Holy fuck. That's what happens when you're in the middle of a comment and you start to respond. Mountain Man, how are you? No, is that in reference to me telling Ammo to go live so we could touch tips? Oh, there definitely wasn't 100 in there. That's winter stuff. You get bored and, oh damn. That's like losing liquid gold right there. That's prepped and prime brass. You don't want to be dumping that stuff out. It's a lot of work that goes into prepping rifle brass. Half the time my floor by my workbench here looks like the floor of a public range, between bullets, powder, and primers being spilt all over. So let's see. I'm not really sure what I even want to load, to be honest. Obviously 223 I got brass prepped. I don't know if I want to load some 62 grain or some 68 or some 55s. Or I could go lighter. I think. What we got? It looks like I can go all the way down to 45 grain. But years ago when I tested that was all kind of light. It didn't stabilize real good. Let's see. Surprised you haven't stripped your wrench yet. What do you mean I haven't stripped your wrench? I'm sorry, I'm half looking at comments. What's your tips? Life of the party here, yeah. Not much of a party here. Like I said, I guess maybe we'll load some Sierras up. Let's load them 68s. I'm just chilling out doing gun stuff. I might as well just post it. Nothing else. It might inspire people to ask questions and get a little free education and something. I just want to find data that correlates to what I want to load. H335. There you go. Different generations loading manuals have different published data. So this was a 5th edition, and this was an 11th edition. Things change over time, especially as like powder companies get bought and sold and stuff. Data will change. So 23.4. Always got to make sure your scale's calibrated. Sometimes if it hasn't been on long enough, it won't calibrate. It's got to actually warm up. I see a lot of people use like little Harbor Freight scales and stuff, and I commend them for having balls big enough to do that. The scale's sensitive enough that if I breathe towards it, it'll actually fluctuate up and down. I think years ago when I got into loading, that was actually one of the very first like expensive things that I invested into reloading. That was a really good scale. So just for velocity's sake and chronograph reading, I'm going to use factory 335. The other day I was loading, I had pull down powder. I was loading some of that. But I'm curious, because that powder, the surplus powder, is pretty old. I'm curious if it's deteriorated at all. As it deteriorates, it'll usually go burn faster. And if that's the case, then that tells me I need to get it used up. But the only way to know that is to have a new sample pack. But I still have the military surplus. I still have probably about 32 pounds of the military surplus powder. But this is what they call a ball powder. It's like a real small spherical. Meters out really well consistently. So I want to be at like 24.4, 24.5 grains. We're at 27. It's 25.4. 24.4. I looked at that data wrong at first. It's got to be 23.8 or less. So it's right now it's right on 23.8. You usually want to be about 10% under a max load. Six. And 3.6. That'll work. What's up, Jordan? How are you doing? Not much to see here that's entertaining. Come on. I remember why I've been doing it hand one at a time. When I put it on the pedestal, I can't run the block under it anymore. I used to hold it down here and run the block through them. Jay Lee, what's going on? How are you doing? So what's your timeline, Jay Lee, on moving? It's in there. Depends how pissed off you get. A lot of times managers that come into companies that are straight douchebags don't last long. Employees make and break companies, and they also make and break managers. Sometimes it sucks having to wait it out, but I've been at my job over 20 years, and I can't tell you how many times I've had a boss come in and try to change the world. And I've looked them in the eye and been like, you know, man, in 20 years of being here, I've had probably 40 or 50 different bosses. And I always look at him and say this, and I've seen them come, and I've seen them go, and I'm still here. The smart ones go into companies and they kind of let the employees run their own show. They're the experts in their field. Granted, sometimes you got fuck-ups that need to be supervised, but most of the time, people want to do more or less the right thing. Is he just trying to make a name for himself? Just come in and shake everything up? Yeah, that's pretty bad when you get them guys. Well, consider going to Wisconsin, man. That's where I'm at. There's a lot of great jobs here. Very, very gun-friendly state. It's a conservative state. You wouldn't know it because they keep electing fucking Democratic governors, but it's a very conservative state. A lot of industry, especially in the eastern, from all the way from south all the way up to the northern border for Wisconsin. all down about the east side of the state is a very, very, very large industrial hub. A lot of global manufacturing facilities. Really, you're from Wisconsin? From Delavan? I'm not familiar with where Delavan is. Where's it by? Must be a real small little town. Yeah, what's it close to? Lake Geneva, yeah, that's south by Madison. I'm up in the Oshkosh area. So I'm sure you probably know where that is. It's a bigger part of the state, or kind of a well-known area part of the state, I guess. That's where we got the air show. Yeah, Madison's a little over an hour away from me. Madison's a cool place, but it's a very, very, very liberal part of the state. That's like the most liberal part of the state. But going to the capital is pretty cool sometimes. So how'd you end up going to Switzerland? Obviously a plane, right? But why'd you move? And how do you like Switzerland? Everything I see, man, it looks like a gorgeous country. Yeah, Janesville. That's down by Beloit. So that's southern Wisconsin. I'm familiar with Janesville. I'm familiar with, obviously, right, Madison. I just wasn't familiar with that Delavan. Must be a smaller town. The area down there, southern Wisconsin's beautiful. Whole state's moved because of a girl. 42 now, 2 kids, 2 cats. How long have you been in Switzerland? Keith, how are you? It's okay here, just expensive. You mind my asking what you do for a living? I'm gonna ask you how much you make. I'm just curious how that relates to how'd you meet your you said a girl, I'm assuming wife now? How did you meet her? I am finishing up some rifle rounds, 5.56. I have some 68 grain boat tail hollow point match. So wife now. How'd you meet her? I mean, it's obviously worlds apart, right? You've been there for almost 15 years. It's a long time. You have any desire to come back to the States or back to Wisconsin? Not with the current political situation. Yeah, I guess I can see how that looks a little chaotic. I voted for Trump, so I can't really say I'm upset about what's going on. The economy, our whole country as a whole, needed a serious shakeup. If our country wants to still be here in another 100 years, we couldn't and can't continue doing what we've been doing. It's kind of a harsh way to go at a lot of things, like start enacting all this stuff all at once. But like everything, I know it's going to get a lot worse before it gets any better. And I guess I would rather suffer through tough economic times or anything else versus my kids suffering through it. So hopefully in now the next 3.5 years, not even 3.5, but 3.5 years, I hope everything gets better. I want my kids to be successful. I want them to do better than me. I want them to be able to buy their own home someday. Be able to go to college and not pay for it for the rest of their life. I want them to be able to have a good job where they can have a good quality life and provide for their own families. And right now, today, that's pretty tough, especially for our younger people trying to get out and make their own way. You know, my oldest, he's 24. He has one degree. He went to school to be an EMT, and he doesn't even work in that field. And now he's back in school right now to be a diesel mechanic. And I feel bad because he struggles. He's finally kind of getting through the struggle. Part of it, you know, as a young person, they have to build a solid work history and gain a lot of experience. So he's been doing that. Yeah, I would have never thought that's something he wanted to do, but when he was a kid, I raced cars and I raced motorcycles and stuff, so I was always wrenching on something. And more times than not, I would either make him come out there and hold a flashlight or help pick tools up or just stand there and try to learn something. With that, the kid actually became very, very mechanically inclined. Yeah. You guys can make good money. You know, he can make good money. Just the guy, you know, obviously changing oil somewhere, they're going to struggle, but you put a little schooling in and put the time in, get a little solid work history, there's money to be made. So that's good, you know. How long have you been in the automotive field? Is that what you were doing before you left there? Left to go to Switzerland? And how different is it working on vehicles there versus working on vehicles here? I mean, obviously some of it's the same. What's your wife do for a living? Does she work? Or is she fortunate and gets to stay at home? cool. That's solid that she gets to be at home. What's going on below, Utah? I'm still trying to think of what you mean about profit capping. I was thinking about that last night for a little while. I think the only time I made a comment about something like that was in like regards to the price of vehicles and the price of employees being and what they're making, and the fact that the profits that they're making is because of outsourcing all the work to third world countries. I think that's shame. Oh, you're waiting for me? Hey guys, I'll be back. I am going to stop this, and I'm going to try to get on a live here with ammo. So maybe come back in a few minutes.